Beauty is fleeting. Well, for most of us. In our next story, we meet a 50-year-old woman who's just as gorgeous as the day she was born.
Barbie, you're beautiful. You make me feel my Barbie doll is really real. Someday I'm gonna be exactly like you. Till then I know just what I'll do. Barbie, beautiful Barbie, I'll make believe that I am you.
It starts out being a piece of plastic, and it really represents where we've been for the last 50 years.
To me, she's somebody who can do anything and everything in the entire world. She can be a stewardess, she can be a princess, she can be a movie star, she can be on the red carpet, all these different things that Barbie can do, and I think she's Superwoman.
Barbie represents a lot of things to different people who look at her. Some people see Barbie as an amazingly successful global brand. To others, she's a subject for a work of art. To children, she's the figure onto which they project their adult selves.
Standing 11.5 inches, Barbie first took the world by storm in 1959. Scantily dressed in her signature black and white swimsuit and high heels, Barbie was the first doll to represent adult women. By age 50, Barbie has earned a net worth of more than $3 billion and leaps off toy shelves into the arms of children every 3 seconds. But behind her lavish hair and flawless features are hidden secrets. Her connection to a German sex doll, her unrealistic proportions, and her struggle to remain politically correct. Despite the animosity some might feel toward her, others center their lives on Barbie, making her the most sought-after woman in the world.
Barbie's small and so petite. Her clothes and figure look so neat. Her dancing outfit rings the bell. At parties she will cast a spell. Purses, hats, and gloves galore. And all the gadgets gals adore.
Barbie dressed for swim and fun is only $3. Her lovely fashions range from $1 to $5. Look for Barbie wherever dolls are sold.
Barbie, the teenage fashion model, first hit toy shelves in 1959. But the story of Barbie's creation began years before she appeared on the scene.
Back around 1950, when Ruth Handler, the co-founder of Mattel, she was observing her 8 or 9-year-old daughter playing with her friends, playing with movie star paper dolls. And she looked at this and she thought, wouldn't it be great to three-dimensionalize this and turn it into a toy? She was told by the research and development people, probably one person at that point, Mattel was very small, that it couldn't be done cost effectively, so she sort of put the idea on the back burner. 6
years later, Ruth Handler came across an 11.5-inch doll in a shop in Switzerland. Her name was Lily.
Now, Lily was a comic strip character in Germany. She was sort of a gold digger, not quite a call girl, but definitely lived off the generosity of other men.
This is she, who was based on a character in a sort of downscale German newspaper called the Bild Zeitung, which was sort of like our National Enquirer. I mean, Lily was, a floozy. I read 3 or 4 years of cartoons, and nearly every one, the punchline involved Lily swapping sexual favors for money. And the one I like the best shows Lily in the apartment of a female friend, and she's holding up a tiny newspaper, the Bild Zeitung, I believe, to cover her naked body. And the caption is, "We had a fight, and he took back all his presents."
According to Lord, the Lily doll was created as a pornographic gag gift for men. Lily ads stated she was the star of every bar and the mascot for your car.
It was the kind of thing you would give as a party gift, as a joke. And she was dressed in either usually casual wear, sometimes ski wear, sometimes evening gowns or whatever, and she was very voluptuous and very hard looking, actually.
In her book, Lord wrote that Handler purchased 3 dolls and gave one to her research and development team. The original Barbie doll premiered at the New York Toy Fair in 1959. She was named after Ruth Handler's daughter, Barbara, and she bared a striking resemblance to the Lily doll.
It was not an immediate success with buyers. They thought it was too salacious, too voluptuous. Sears wouldn't even carry it.
One of my favorite exchanges involves a mother looking at different versions of the doll, and she says, well, I might give my daughter the one in the wedding dress, but, her eyes bug out, not the one in the sweater.
Handler's company discovered that kids loved Barbie, but mothers hated her. So Mattel decided to market directly to children.
They were the first toy company to buy advertising time on television. They spoke directly to children without parents as an intermediary, and that step radicalized the toy industry. Speaking directly to children was critical when the Barbie doll came out.
By the summer of 1959, young girls were going wild for Barbie, but something was missing.
Ruth Handler started out with this idea of making the doll a blank slate in terms of personality. What they discovered over the first couple of years is that kids were writing to her in record numbers and saying what they wanted. They wanted her to have a car, they wanted her to have a house, they wanted her to have jobs other than being a teenage model, but most of all they wanted her to have a boyfriend, which kind of surprised Mattel because they really had never thought of the idea of doing a boy doll.
It all started at the dance. Barbie, the famous teenage fashion model doll by Mattel, felt that this was to be a special night. And then it happened. She met Ken. And somehow she knew that she and Ken would be going together.
Just like Barbie, Ken was named after the handler's son, Kenneth. Having both dolls meant that Mattel would develop a new advertising strategy.
It was a huge success. And what they realized at that point is they needed to give her more of a personality, define her more. She had a boyfriend. Suddenly she was from Willow, Wisconsin. She had parents. 2 years later, she had a little sister. Then she had a best friend, Midge.
Barbie's success continued, and by 1965, Mattel's sales exceeded $100 million. Her secret was adapting to current styles and fashions. And during the mid-1960s, Barbie fashions began changing. Her best friend Midge disappeared from toy shelves to reveal new dolls with hipper styles.
If you take a look at the original Barbie, she is the emblem of glamour in the 1950s. And she couldn't even fit into a lot of the clothes in the 1960s. This was a time when rail-thin models like Twiggy were becoming popular. And Barbie couldn't wear those clothes. She had a sister. She had they gave her a cousin Francie who could wear the mod Carnaby Street, but Barbie was kind of, a frump from another time.
She looks prettier.
Then Barbie went through her first drastic makeover when Mattel introduced the new Twist and Turn Barbie in 1967.
The doll had to evolve some way, and also Mattel had to sell more dolls. So in the middle 1960s, it came out with an alternative version of the doll called Twist and Turn.
But what kind of a girl is the new Twist and Turn Barbie? Whatever kind of girl you want her to be.
From there, Mattel introduced a Barbie with bendable arms and legs. By 1976, she had her last drastic makeover, giving her a wide-open smile and painted eyes that looked straight ahead.
I think Malibu Barbie, which was the first doll that defiantly looked straight ahead, the eyes that were downcast and to the side on the original Barbie, sort of reflect her origins. But the change in Barbie's glance, I think, was very much a reflection of the sexual revolution, because by 1970, you could have that body and still look defiantly straight ahead.
But as Barbie grew older, so did her fans. And by the 1980s, a new generation of Barbie collectors emerged.
When I was a little kid, my mom and dad used to buy my sister and I tons of Barbies for Christmas. And we just started playing with them. And I just enjoyed Barbie so much because I could do and be whoever I wanted with Barbie. And so it just kind of started to parlay as I got older into more like collecting them and saving them in the box.
Along with Barbie collecting came the first Barbie convention. Fisher is just one of the more than 100,000 Barbie doll collectors, half of whom spend $1,000 a year, according to Mattel.
I have 550 dolls. So if you averaged over the amount of dolls I have per doll, maybe $40 or something at 550. You're looking at pretty sizable amount of money. And so if I sold it, it'd probably be worth a little bit more.
Fisher says her collection is worth an estimated $25,000.
Collectors spend anywhere from, honestly, $100 a year to several $1,000s a year in terms of new dolls. In terms of if they collect vintage being from 59 to 72, and again could be anywhere from $100 to $10,000 a year. It just depends how aggressively they're building their collection.
And in 1988, Mattel began capitalizing on this new breed of Barbie collectors by introducing the Happy Holidays Barbie and other collectible lines which showcased elaborate fashions.
Fashion does play a lot, especially in some of my collecting books that I have. They have a breakdown of all the clothes that you can actually purchase as well, and they are worth lots of money.
If it weren't for fashion, there wouldn't be a Barbie doll. The clothing really is the locomotive that pulls the train, and has been from the very beginning. And it's mostly what collectors respond to. After a while, all the dolls naked look alike. It's really how they're dressed that differentiates them.
Well, I'm going to show you my storage shed. I have like lots of Barbies in here. It's a mess, so beware. But I have them stacked all over the place. So all these bins have Barbie dolls in them, and it goes all the way back to the end of the wall here. And then this is like an older doll too. I got it from that one girl who was selling her Barbies. This is the Troll Barbie. This is back from 1992. So yeah, I have years ranging in years from the 60s to the present day. More focusing probably from the 70s on, but this one I got in Texas. So I get them all over the place. It debuted in 1968 as the number 1848 in the 1800 series. So, and it is a gold label doll. I don't have a lot of the gold label ones.
Gold label, platinum label, black label, and pink label are just some of the new categories Mattel has created for its collector edition dolls.
Black label doll is more one that represents, it's like a sensational doll for the doll collector. They're a little bit different. They have a few that come out here and there, but you don't really see them very often for the black label. Whereas the other labels, like, pink, that is more like an invitation to collect the dolls, and you'll see that's like one level up from the main dolls. And then you have the gold label dolls, which have about 20,000 dolls worldwide. And then you have the silver label, which is 50,000 produced worldwide. And then the platinum, which is only 1,000. And so those are the ones you really want to collect because they're definitely worth something someday.
Fisher says her collection showcases how Barbie has changed over the decades.
Well, I really love it because I think it represents, everything that, we've evolved as humans. I mean, it's like a time capsule, right, where you stick in a newspaper or something and then you can see, 40 years down the road what's actually transpired. It definitely shows how much we've evolved over the years. It represents, American culture. I mean, there's over 50 years of Barbie, and you can see them as they transgress over the entire, 50 years.
Crystal and Madeline Smith are some of Barbie's newest collectors. Together, they have about 70 dolls, and their collection keeps growing.
I really like fashion. I actually started collecting Barbie dolls because I like the miniature stuff. I like the stuff in the play sets and stuff. I think it's really cool.
Crystal wants to be a fashion designer, and Madeline, she wants to be an artist / singer / graphics designer. They got me collecting. I don't want to take all their glory, but I have a one doll here.
Crystal even designs her own clothes for Barbie.
I made this dress. I dyed the fabric so it looked blotchy or whatever, and I cut it out, and I made this pirate hat too. See.
The sisters are doing more than just collecting dolls. Crystal Smith started her own Barbie website when she was 9 years old. The site receives more than 700 hits a week and features Barbie downloads, customized graphics, and even videos.
Happy 50th birthday, Barbie! Hear what I'm talking about, the girl is working out. She's at the top of her game, she carries the flame, she knows her name and what she's all about. Barbie Collectors on YouTube.
But despite the dedication of fans, Barbie has sparked controversy since she was first introduced in 1959.
There have been a number of controversies with Barbie. You had a Barbie in the mid-90s saying math class is tough. You had a teacher Barbie that didn't have underpants.
Growing up, Skipper is one of the most grotesque things I've ever seen. When you shoved her arm back, this doll made a really bizarre noise, and she sprouted up about 1/4 of an inch and developed breasts, like that. And then, the really creepy part was, you push the arm forward, and the breasts went away again. It was very, very creepy.
And in 2003, the Associated Press reported that Barbie was even deemed a threat to morality by Saudi Arabia's religious police. In response, the Fula doll was introduced.
Iran and Saudi Arabia have their own version of Barbie, which, is their ideal of womanhood. I guess it's fine for their societies because that's how it works.
Barbie critics generally have one complaint: her unrealistic proportions. According to a group of researchers at a university in Finland, if Barbie were real, she would lack the 17 to 22% body fat needed for a woman to menstruate. Other studies show that given her proportions, if Barbie were life-sized, she would stand 5'6", weigh 100 pounds, and have a 39-inch bust.
You learn a lot about dolls when they go to sleep at night. Barbie's slumber party set came with a bunch of plastic curlers, a bathroom scale permanently set at 110, and this really is reprehensible. It's just a really ill-conceived joke. And a small book that said on one side, how to lose weight, and on the other, don't eat. Ken, in contrast, had his set of pajamas came with a glass of milk and a sweet roll. It is, that is a powerful message. I don't think that's something where paranoid people are projecting onto the doll. That's definitely troubling.
To combat these arguments, Mattel changed the ratios of Barbie's body in 2000. Her bust shrunk, her waist widened to reveal a new belly button, and her feet grew. But Barbie supporters argue that her design is not intended to fully replicate a female body.
Barbie is supposed to be for fun, and it's supposed to represent a woman to a young child. It's not like when you say sexy that she has, everything atomically correct. It's to the point where it's something that a child can relate to, but yet not, to the point where it's overboard, in my opinion.
In terms of Barbie's physique, there's an actual reason for it. If her dimensions were real, she'd be like 35, 18, 33. You need to have a doll be that size so when you put clothing on her, it looks normal because she's 1/6 scale, but fabric isn't. So you have to make her smaller in the waist so she doesn't look like she's pregnant.
Well, I've never really bought the argument that Barbie is to blame for eating disorders. Femininity is the problem, and Barbie is the scapegoat. I think a lot of mothers blame this 11.5-inch object for messages that they themselves give to their children about how you should look.
That blame sometimes ends in some violent results.
You see dolls just with cigarette burns. It's very hard to find things that have been taken out of the box that are in great shape because it's just enormous abuse. I think kids take out their frustrations on their toys. And if you've got a Barbie, it's cutting the hair or decapitating it or taking a hacksaw to the arm or whatever. It's a lot of societal anger, kid style.
Children rarely play with dolls the way the manufacturer intends them to. And a lot of girls, young girls, older girls, teenage girls who are angry about society's oppressive notions about femininity take it out on Barbie because she's such an emblem of those things. Then they destroy the doll, cut its hair, make it and mutilate it. Basically, it's an expression of anger against what the doll represents.
But from disproportional size, numerous controversies, and mutilation, her popularity continues to move beyond doll sales. And at 50, Barbie has starred in more than 10 movies. Since her creation, Mattel has sold more than 1 billion dolls. It is estimated that 99% of American girls own a Barbie, making Barbie the most sold fashion doll of all time.
I think wherever we're going, Barbie will be right there, either 6 months behind or 6 months ahead. It's the secret of her success. She just is a perfect mirror of us.
I'm gonna be exactly like you. Till then, I know just what I'll do. Barbie, beautiful Barbie, I'll make believe that I am you.
That's it for this edition of Impact, but be sure to check out our website at uscimpact.org. Now let's take a look at some of our upcoming stories.
You're driving down Wilshire Boulevard and there's 40,000-year-old dead animals on the sidewalk pretty much. It's unlike any place in the world.
When you're carrying a big heavy bucket filled with saber-toothed cat bones, and that's definitely rewarding.
I had this idea to start a program that would help disadvantaged residents in Los Angeles.
There are free art classes that are brought to Skid Row so that low-income residents can generate more income by learning how to make quality pieces of artwork that can sell.
My boyfriend says, you just think you're just like badass. Those are all fine during the day, and then you just put on your skates and you just like turn into a badass. He's definitely noticed a change since starting roller derby.